My wife made this one.
There it is. Ta-da. Hopefully everybody will move along to the next chat.
Yep, hopefully so, because we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday, TGIF. We are here. And as you can see, I'm running things because Dan is not here again. Typical. So, it is what it is. That's all I can say. It just is what it is and what it is.
All I can say.
So, yeah. But I'm glad to have, Dave on. We got Scott in the house, ready to roll. And yeah, so happy Friday to you guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Awesome. We got some good stuff going on tonight. We got some good, cool stuff to share with you guys. Scott's got some good stuff to share. I've got some cool stuff to share.
And I've got nothing.
And Dave has absolutely nothing. Nothing.
I'm just letting them know to switch chats.
Yeah. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. So
it's weird because you pull it up and you
think it should just kick right on, right?
Right. You would think.
Everything should go live to the new chat, but it never does. I don't understand that. I mean, I don't know if it's a Zoom thing. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing. It's just weird.
It's a U-Zoom thing.
It's a U-Zoom thing. I'm blaming them both. So yeah, it's just weird. So yeah, Matt, there you go. It's an Eric thing. And it's okay. Hey, it's all good. What's up, Tarek? Hey. So, oh yeah, we got Wilfredo here. He's in the house. Everybody's starting to show up. So happy Friday to you guys. Happy TGIF, all that stuff. It is hot here in Hotlanta. And it's going to be raining soon. And
yeah,
I'm looking forward to absolutely no clear skies. There's going to be no clear skies for at least a week here, at least where I'm at.
Yeah, it's looking like almost 2 weeks for me.
Yeah, but I'm going to share some stuff when we really get going here. Some very interesting stuff that happened in my area, astronomy related, that was really cool and freaked my wife out.
Freak out.
Yeah, she called me and she was almost in a panic a bit. So
the Iranians are coming.
No, right. So, but yeah, it was just super crazy, and it happened here in the Southeast United States. So I'll share that here. Pretty cool phenomena. And it's definitely it's astronomy related and all that stuff, and just people were just, hey Sherry, people were just losing their minds. They didn't know what the heck was going on. So yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, for our astronomers and everybody, they may or may not know that I believe this currently what's going on is we have a meteor shower.
Yep.
And that's going on just near the Big Dipper, in the Bootids, in the constellation of Boots, the Bootids meteor shower. And I'm going to share my screen here. Can.
These
know I
boots were
can.
made for walking.
Exactly. And
That's just what they'll do.
And let me see here. And let's go to here. And let's.
Oh, look at that big one. Yeah.
Atlanta and the Southeast is a meteor.
So
Breaking at 10, NASA has confirmed that this fireball seen across metro Atlanta and the Southeast is a meteor that fell and disintegrated dozens of miles above Newton County.
And here you can see it again. Atlanta News first reporter Lonnie Latang spoke with people who saw.
FYI, I live in Newton County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I live in Newton County. So just
saw and heard this. She is live in Henry County where a tiny piece of it hit a home. Alani?
Ooh, that's worth some money.
But left quite a shock for the father and young child who were home at the time. It made a beeline from the roof all the way through the floor. Thankfully, they are not injured. But the phenomenon was both fascinating for some people and a little scary for others when they didn't know what it was.
Once in a while, you could
I saw the pictures of that.
Everyone's able to see.
A fireball seen crossing the skies caught the eyes and ears of thousands of people from Dawsonville.
It just looked like a ball of fire just falling from the sky. And I mean, it was bright. You could, just looking at it, you could tell it was just bright.
oh my God, they're freaking out.
Fourth Ward.
I was getting ready to water my garden, and suddenly I heard a really, really long, thunderous explosion sounding thing that lasted for a wildly long time. Like,
yeah, Robin
Is that
called
a technical term?
yeah, for a wildly long time. Robin called me. She said, "Did you feel that?" Because she thought it was an earthquake or something, and she heard the boom and everything. So she was just, so she was freaking out. She didn't know what was going on.
it felt like 15 to 20 seconds.
And across several southeastern states, the International Meteor Organization has received more than 160 sightings of the fireball. In Henry County, emergency management says a homeowner called to say possible pieces of the fireball blew through their roof and came crashing into their laminate floor. Officials say the father and young child home at the time are not injured. TELUS Science Museum has
A ball of fire just falling from the sky.
possible
And she precious.
the fireball
precious.
blew through their roof and came crashing into their laminate floor. Officials say the father
look at
and
that.
young child home at the time are not injured. TELUS Science Museum
I mean, let's look at that thing. It's
Yeah.
crazy,
has their predictions of the type of meteorite.
My best guess is that it's part of the Beta Taurids, which is a daytime meteor shower, which we don't usually talk about the daytime ones just because they usually can't see them.
NASA says the meteor was first seen above Oxford in Newton County, then disintegrated above West Forest, unleashing a pressure wave, creating booms felt and heard by many.
If you could picture an explosion that went on and on and on and on, but up in the sky.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so that's what happened, in my neck of the woods. And it was just like, holy cow. I remember, what was it? Was it a couple years ago? Something similar happened over an area of Russia.
Oh, yeah. That was a big one.
But that was a big one.
That one like busted out windows and everything like
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember that. I don't know if others in the chat would
Oh, I remember.
recall that or see what that, or heard about that one. But that one was pretty impressive. And this one was too, to create those sonic booms. It's streaking through the atmosphere, and entering the atmosphere and making those sonic booms.
Yeah.
It had to have been something. It kind of sucks that, I was at work, so I missed it. I didn't see it or anything like that. And I didn't even hear it, working in a manufacturing plant, a little noisy. But yeah, it was,
Sector
I,
7.
I wonder
Sector
how
seven was
big
going.
the chunk is left of it.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
It could be worth some money, man.
Yeah, it
'cause
could be.
People pay
Could be.
big bucks for space rocks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So no, that was really, really cool. That happened yesterday. So definitely want to share that and thought that would be a really cool segment we could talk about.
Yeah, I remember one time I was coming home from work, and it was probably the winter time because it was dark, and saw a huge one. I'm driving down 395 heading home, and off in the distance you just see this bright, and it almost was green kind of, and it was huge, and it lasted a long, a lot of times you'll see one, it's just real quick and gone. This thing was going, and finally flickered out, but it went for a long time, and it was big. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Dennis says, oh my gosh, I can only imagine he's in Wichita, and they've got the Air Force base there. So F-16s, streaking, and causing that, sonic booms there.
Yeah.
Ross is saying that was the Chelyabinski.
Yeah, that's right. Chelyabinski.
Yeah, the Chelyabinski meteor. It was like
I
60 feet across and had a blast equal to 400 kilotons of TNT.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that was a big one.
You can't, oh man.
Well, I mean, don't forget about the one in Russia in 1908, the Tunguska event. That one was really
the flattened half the forest.
Yeah, it took, I'm reading it right here. It's an estimated 80 million trees over 2,150 square kilometers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you imagine if that hit a populated area?
There wouldn't be no populated area.
Right? Holy cow.
Yeah.
No. God.
Yeah, it was like up near Siberia where it hit, I guess.
Yeah, it was way up north.
Yeah,
it dense forest.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that the ash covered the earth for a long time from that because of the fires that it spawned. I mean, because it burned thousands of square kilometers, of forest, and the ash from it just covered the earth.
Wow. Matt saying, ask the dinosaurs about the one they saw.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That was that I thought the one of the dinosaurs, I thought that was a comet. May have been one or the other. I thought either a huge asteroid or a comet.
Yeah, but you can't imagine. I mean, if you talk about that, the one that Scott's describing, and the one just a while back in Russia, 400 kilotons of TNT. You got one that knocks out, that basically wipes out maybe a huge swath of Siberian forest.
Yep.
Can you imagine what? Oh my gosh.
The one that I think you're referring to is the one in the Yucatan.
Okay.
That hit the ocean.
They hit the ocean. Yeah.
And that was massive.
Yeah, that's the one, because that's the one that took out the dinosaurs, because it hit the Yucatan. With the one it hit the Yucatan.
Well, that's the theory, but yeah.
Can you imagine? I just can't even imagine. You thank God I'm here, because that was in my freaking county, dude. Can you imagine if that was in, how if it was bigger than that?
God, can you imagine if it hit your mouth?
Oh.
Well, I mean, the other one too.
Right after you get it working last night and everything.
Oh man, we're talking about that.
Oh man,
are you freaking kidding me? Oh.
Well,
man.
the other one too that if you go out west that you should definitely check out is Crater National Park.
Oh, out west, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was a relatively small meteor, but you look at the crater that it left.
Yeah, it's like over a mile across.
It's a mile. Yeah, it's a mile across.
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes to show you the raw power of something like that. I mean,
doing over 20,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
I was watching
kinetic energy, baby. It is something else.
NASA
Just ask around.
Yeah, NASA put out some information. They showed a picture of one of their satellites that got hit by a piece of plastic or something that was going at 15,000 miles an hour.
Salt.
Yeah, and it just hit this huge crater in this metal. I mean, it's just the power of it is it's just it's amazing.
It's amazing the speeds they're traveling at when they're up there. And
now that's what they warn you about with tornadoes. It's not the wind, it's what's in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, speaking of speed, you know, Scott has something to share from his Hyperstar, you know, shooting that sucker at f2. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, the image that I'll share. I've got two images actually. The one is just with the NBZ filter, and it's 3 hours, 180 minutes, 3 hours, integrated. And all I did, that's all it is. All I did was apply WBPP to it, and one application of blur exterminator. That's it. All right. The other one is just WBPP. Right. And nothing else. So there's no there's no processing beyond WBP at all. Right. So this just illustrates the power of the Hyperstar shooting at f2, and what this sucker can do. I am still blown away, you know, at the kind of imaging that I was able to get with this. So let me see if I can get to this image there. There we go. So that's that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's that's with the NBZ, the Nebula booster.
Nice.
And again, there's
zoom in on those stars, man.
There is no processing beyond just one application of blur exterminator, and that was just to take care of the stars were just a touch blocky, but blur exterminator took care of it.
I mean, look at that. That is gorgeous, man.
The stars are just, and I'm this all the way up into the corners.
Yep.
Nice and round. And you know, Eric and I were talking about this earlier. You know, you're getting a little bit of gold in the stars there, some blues, but then you come back over to the lagoon, to the center of the lagoon, and if I can get to it. Yeah. And, you know, you just look at the blue that is in that. The oxygen that's coming through that is just crazy.
Wilfredo's asking, is that the original NBZ or the NBZ2?
Yeah, Wilfredo, that is the original NBZ.
Okay.
That isn't even the new one. That's the original one. Yep. Now that there, right? So that's the NBZ. This one here, all this is moon and sky glow.
That's straight RGB.
Straight RGB. That's all that is. And we got some nice gold in those stars. You know, the red is there. So, you know, integrating these two together, I'm gonna have to play around with that and see. But man, you know, the processing on this is going to be really fun. Yeah, a little bit blown out in the core, but not terrible. I'm
What's
just
your exposure. What was your exposure time?
That's 60 seconds.
60 seconds. And how many?
180.
180 of them.
Yep. And I mean that the results speak for themselves. I mean, you look at that, look at up top, you know, you come up here. Let me just slide over a little bit.
And that was with the 2600, right?
That's the 2600. Yeah. Let me just slide over.
The 2600 MC. Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, that little gas right up in here with those stars.
Yeah.
You know. So if you guys,
if there's coming off of there,
and I know that Wayne Wayne Parker, he's been shooting Hyperstar, same rig setup that I've got for years, and he was telling me, man, you know, once you lock in, you get this thing, you know, where you really like it. It's very difficult to shoot anything less.
Yeah.
And I based on these results, I have to agree with him. If any of the people that are in the chat are going to be watching this video down the way, if you have an SCT and you want to see what it can really do at a fast speed, your Hyperstar is definitely either a Hyperstar or RASA, one or the other.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's enough of my pontification.
Yeah.
I'll back out.
Cool. But no, congrats on that, man. Congrats. That's awesome. Wait, yeah, I'll be looking forward to checking out the finished product when are you going to merge them together? Are you going to pull
that's
out
the plan.
That's the plan. Are you going to do a merge of them both together? Or are you just going to do narrowband and pull out the RGB stars from the moon and sky glow? Or are you going to do a merge of both?
You know what? There's so much beauty in that just that NBZ filter. I may just use it just for the luminance and the stars.
Sure. No.
Okay. But we'll play around with both and see.
Okay.
You know, see what we can get. I don't know. Dan, we were talking about this earlier about doing a synthetic luminance layer, you know, with the RGB channels. You know, you can convert it just for, you know, luminance. And so, you know, I don't know. We'll play around with it and see what produces the best results.
Nice. Sherry,
I'd like to see what you get with a mono camera and narrowband filters.
I have the exact same camera in mono, the 2600. So that's one of the things that I'm planning on doing, Dave, is to thread that mono camera up on there and just getting luminance data with that mono camera.
Well, or just put the hydrogen filter in there and just get nothing but hydrogen and then use that as your luminance.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more hydrogen in that area than you're getting.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, David's asking a question. What is your opinion for a Schmidt-Cassegrain 6 or an 8-inch normal Celestron? So you're talking the black one or the orange, with the Hyperstar.
Wait a minute. Where is this question?
Down at the very bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, what is your opinion? I think they're great. I really do.
Yeah, Quiv was using a 6. He put a on his 6 and he was loving it.
Yeah, he was loving it. Yeah.
And the Hyperstar for the 6 is a little tiny baby.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little tiny baby. Yeah, you got to pull it up next to the version 4, you know, so it can nurse.
Yeah. But, you know, for me, I've got the RASA 8 and I have an 8-inch edge. I'm more partial to the 8-inch because I think you can still do planetary you can do planetary with the 6, but I like the versatility of, you know, the 8 being the starter of something if you want to do F2, F7, F10, stuff like that. But yeah, Queef did. He has a video with him using the 6. He has some great freaking results. So either one you're going to be happy with, but if you get I think the 8 is a bit more common and a bit more versatile because the 8 with the Hyperstar, just like with my RASA, you're at a 400 millimeter focal length.
Yep.
Okay. So just keep that in mind. And that's pretty darn wide. You know, that's pretty common, like with, you know, your regular
80 millimeter refractor.
80 millimeter refractors. Yep. So that is where I think I would go as far as between the 6 and the 8. I would go with the 8 and go that route.
Well, and if you're going to use Hyperstar, you know, the bigger your aperture, the less you have blocking your light.
Yes, absolutely. You have a lot more light gathering. You can collect a lot more photons. You kind of have less of an obstruction, so definitely would consider something like that. So I would consider the 8, if you were going to choose between one or the other.
Yeah, and Tarek has question says that I don't have an SCT, but is there a Hyperstar for the Mac?
No, there is not.
Now, the Hyperstar is a device that is meant to take the place of the secondary mirror.
Yes, and you
So-
can't remove the secondary
Of a Mac.
of a Mac.
No,
So
no, it's meant to be
Well,
mounted on something with a corrector plate.
correct.
he has both. Okay, so David has both. He just needs a Hyperstar. I would personally go with the 8. If it were me, I would go with the 8. So yeah.
And the Rasa is an absolutely phenomenal choice. The 8-inch Rasa. Do they make a 9 1/4 Rasa, or is it the 11?
11.
No, it's just 8, 11, and 14.
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
call
the
it the
14, the
36.
36-inch Rasa, which is the 14, is ridiculous.
It is.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's
It's nuts.
$16,000 for that
It's
telescope.
crazy. It's crazy expensive. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
So
also, Tarek is also mentioned. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Scott.
That's all right.
But he's also mentioning the Hyperstar with the 6-inch. The imaging circle is only 16 millimeter. So that's
get the right
why,
camera.
that's a tough camera to really utilize that. With the 8,
Well, yeah,
you-
but you'll be able to use a smaller pixel size camera too. You'll be able to,
yeah, you will.
a 585 or something. Would probably
You could use a
perfect for the 6.
585. Yep, a 585 or a 533. And that's what I would even use with the
8.
with the 8.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually looking forward to using my 585 with the Rasa at some point. I'm going to get it out, get it get everything collimated and use the 585. So, but yeah, I vote for the 585. All right. So we talked
One other quick thing about the Rasa or the Hyperstar is that if for people that are considering it, one of the things that's really, really important is good solid cable management for that. Now, in the video that I did, I think it's the second. I think it's the second video. It's it's one of them. In my Hyperstar series, I show the guiding jig that you can get 3D printed, which mounts to the outer ring of the telescope, and it has an arc, a dedicated arc, and then you basically zip tie your cables to that arc. And then what I do is I left enough slack in the cable coming off of that arc going up the Hyperstar to the camera so that I can rotate. Yeah, there you go. Mine's just a lot bigger, but that's exactly the same thing.
Basically what it is. Yeah.
Yes. I can rotate my camera around at least 180 degrees full 180 degrees all the way around. And then what I did, I got one of these little Velcro ties, a little Velcro strap. And I just wrap that Velcro strap around the Hyperstar to snug the cable up against, not tight, but just enough to keep it out of the field of view.
Out of the field of view.
And I'm telling you, even the only way that I can see the obstruction, is when I collimate. It doesn't give any diffraction spikes, nothing.
Yep.
So those little printed jobbers are the bomb, and they're cheap. And do yourself a favor, buy at least 2 of them in case you break one.
Yep. Yeah, David's really making some good points here. You have to remember especially at f2, you have to remember that critical focus zone is very small.
Yep.
So that's one thing. Filters are also something that needs to be looked at carefully when you're at f2. The NBZ is a 10 nanometer, I believe, dual narrowband. So, and it gives you really good results. I started out with my Rasa at using f12, I would not go any narrower personally than 7 nanometer with something that you're shooting at f2, unless you're getting specific filters that are designed
for high speed.
Because you are going to have that band shift to deal with, so unless you're getting like the beta f2 net, narrowband filters, but if you're just using the standard, slightly, higher band pass, I would not go any slower or any narrower than f7. Ideally,
7 nanometer, you mean?
Yeah, 7 nanometer. Ideally, I would say that f12, f10. I'm sorry, not f, but 12 or 10 nanometer. Those would be the ones, unless you were actually going to invest into those high-speed filters.
Yeah, which are going to cost a lot of money, especially because they're going to be by companies like Chroma and companies like that are even there. Yeah, they're going to be really expensive.
Yes, Beta has those filters.
If you have the money, you know what they say: buy once, cry once.
Cry once. So, yep.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing with buying good glass. Yeah. That's why, I would much rather people buy really, really good, save your pennies and buy the real good glass than just, buying something cheaper to get you through. Don't do it. Yeah. Wait until you can get the good glass, with the good filters, the good coatings. I mean,
good coatings. Yes.
And Wilfredo makes a great point in that the NBZ2s are good for all speeds.
Yes.
And not for nothing, Wilfredo, that first generation NBZ, I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed that the quality that thing was giving me,
Yeah. Yep. IDAS makes
blew me away.
IDAS makes some really, really good.
Yes,
filters.
They do.
They really do. They really, really do.
They're Japanese company, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that I'm looking to try next is the Triad Ultra quad band.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the nano. I've forgotten. I don't even remember what the nanometer rating.
Triad
on the Triad. I don't even remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would guess it's like 5 or 7 somewhere in
Oh,
there.
I think it's. I don't think it's 3.
I think it's like 5, 5.5.
Yeah,
maybe, something like that.
So
Trek says he says 4 nanometer.
4. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things to consider when you're shooting at f2. Filters, critical focus zone, collimation, spacing. That back focus. There's so many different cable management. To Scott's point. There are so many different things you need to make sure you have covered and have under consideration when you're making that change from F5, F7, F10 down to F2, especially when you're talking about an OTA the size of the Rasa. I mean, you got an 8-inch or 6-inch or something like that, or even bigger. I mean, you just have to keep an eye on those things.
Well, I've gone just down to f3.9 with the Carbon Star.
The Carbon Star.
Amazing difference between that and a f7 refractor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a huge difference between f3 and f7. Huge.
Oh yeah,
that's several stops.
Yeah, several. So I mean, you're talking as far as exposure time, you're almost half?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that's, when you're getting down to that F3 under that sub F4, that F3, F2, you're going to be able to do a lot more in a shorter time.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the one sub that I had, and I don't know, did I show that on Wednesday? I think I did.
I think you did, yeah.
But yeah, they show that one sub, at 60 seconds, and the amount of data that I got at 60 seconds on that F2 is ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So
Oh,
just
I
be,
can't
yeah.
imagine how long it would take at f7. You know, it's
Yeah.
3-4 minutes at least,
Mm-hmm.
or longer.
Yeah, or longer. Speaking of longer focal lengths and longer f ratios, I've been working, and you guys, saw me being all quiet on Wednesday and stuff like that because I was I was tired as all hell. But I've been working on my Edge 11 and the MYT, the Paramount MYT mount, and trying to get it going for guiding and all that stuff. And I think I got it. I think we have something. So it took a little bit of time, some research, because a lot of the videos or information I saw was dealing with a lot of older versions of the SkyX Professional, and I have the latest version, the latest build, 13 build. I think it's build 13936 is the latest build that I have, and so just let me show you, and I will go through all of the fun stuff here of what came of it. So let me just prep this here and I will show you. So let me just share my screen. And that now, share. And okay, so I'm going to minimize this. This is my melee. So if I minimize this, come on, behave. So I'm going to the wrong spot. Here we go. No, that did it again. All right. There we are. So
Much better.
much, much better. And so here is my guiding log, my PhD guiding log this was from yesterday. Yesterday. No, the 25th, sorry. So
versus where it was when you showed us on Wednesday, which was up around the 3 arc second.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. No, so this was yesterday. This was yesterday. And as you can see, this was guiding for just under an hour, 42 minutes, under 42 minutes. And
much better.
There is my total as far as my RMS. Because I was fighting, I was always hovering around 1.5 arc seconds. I have gotten that down to that's a 66% improvement. So it's a huge improvement. 0.55 arc seconds, sub arc second, and basically this is how I figured this out. It took me a bit, but if I go to the SkyX here and I will remove this, couple things that I ended up doing and reading about and learning about is right here. It's the main camera. So if I go to my preferences here and under preferences, and you have an advanced area, so I'm going to scroll down here. You have camera. And there are these two checkboxes. The advanced camera user interface, I check that to true, and separate interface for auto guider devices, and I check that to true. The advanced camera is what allowed me to be able to utilize my main camera as an auto guider for the new PEC routine that's in this new version of the SkyX. So once I made these changes and restarted the SkyX, I ended up getting this auto guide tab under the main camera, and I went ahead and followed the other instructions. My camera's not connected or anything like right now, so I can't change it because the heat and everything, my Melee was not happy being out in this Georgia heat. Even
It wanted to melt.
Yes, it wanted to melt. But what I did is I set my exposure times to 2 seconds, to 1 second, however. I set my exposure time to 1 second. My bending, I actually set to 2x2, which gave me a much better, gave me 0.55 arc second, pixels per arc second. And I calibrated what I did. I calibrated using, if I go to setup here, and I switched because me using this Paramount, I switched my auto guide from relay to direct guide and changed my calibration distance. And then because I kept running also into a roadblock calibrating. So I came across from a video, an older video on this from Richard Wright, who helped design the SkyX. He used to work for Software Bisque, and he actually switched his to direct guide, which was recommended, and switched his calibration distance because it goes from, normally it's in relay, it goes from seconds, but if you go to direct guide, it goes in arc seconds.
Oh, there you go.
So I switched it over just like Richard did and made it 100 arc seconds, and then hit OK here, and then began to calibrate. And after I took a shot, I took a photo out to the east and I looked for a decent star. It was about a 0.6. It was about a 6 magnitude. It was about a magnitude 6 star. And there's a nice group of them. And I just took a photo, and then I let it find a guide star, auto guide star, and got that set up and calibrated fine. And then I began to let it auto guide on that star. Now, once I got it auto guiding on the star under telescope, and here, I believe it's under telescope. Yes, under telescope, after I slew to the area that I was looking at, that I wanted to out east, I went to Bisque TCS, and right here is the periodic correction tab. So went there, and as you can see, there's no peg data because the mount is disconnected and everything. But if you go to compute peg curve, you would put in your image scale, your arc seconds per pixel. I did do that based off of, I did a couple of test shots and some image links, and it calculated the image scale, which came out, bending 2x2. It was 0.55 arc seconds per pixel. And with this new version of the trained PEC, with this latest version of the SkyX, I just went ahead and clicked train PEC, and it took before and after. And I don't know if I can share this here.
Yep.
And this was a screenshot. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Of here, of the before and after.
Yep.
And so before PEC, peak to peak,
Yep.
9.6
Yep.
arc seconds.
Look at that. Better
And
than 3 times
PEC,
improvement.
yep.
Nice.
It was really, really good. Down to 2.8. And look at that.
Yep.
And doing that, and I was really excited. I was like, all right, now we're moving. Now we're cooking with gas. And
Yep.
I then, like I said, I went to PhD 2, and under PhD 2, if I go here and under my settings, so here's the mount, here's your ASCOM for the Sky mount, for the SkyX. there's a setting right here, instead of, enabling pulse guide, use direct guide. And so I made that change, got that going. And then all I did in the sky in PhD 2, other than the direct guide for the ASCOM driver, I simply went to the right ascension algorithm and switched it from hysteresis to predictive PEC.
Yep, that's all you got to do.
That's all I had to do. And I checked auto adjust for the worm period, because by default it's at 200. It auto adjusted everything.
Yep.
And then let that sucker run. Bada boom, bada bing. And
that predictive PEC is no joke.
It isn't. It was awesome. And now I'm satisfied.
Yep.
I think, it's like I slayed this little dragon. So now it's just a matter of waiting for the skies to clear, getting some more equipment. I'm waiting for Dan for my calibration, my Wanderer Astro flat frame panel, and get that set up and rebalance everything and get rolling, and then just give this a go.
Yep.
So balance and everything. I figured out, my balance and all that. So I'm excited right now. Now I'm in a better mood.
Well, and I mean, to dovetail off of what Eric is saying, of course, I'm not using the SkyX. I'm just on PhD 2 through Nina, but I had did the exact same settings with PEC in PhD 2, and I've seen phenomenally good numbers on clear nights. I've seen it go 0.2. It doesn't stay there, but it hovers between, I would say, 0.3 and 0.4, but it's predictable and it's regular.
Yes.
So, and that is plenty.
Yep. Absolutely. So like I said, this was just under an hour. I wasn't imaging or anything. I just wanted to test the guiding.
Yep.
And for just under an hour to get these numbers consistently, it never, ever changed. I mean, it just stayed this way.
Yep. Mine's the same way.
It was really, really cool to do that. So,
well, I mean, and not for nothing, but that's the little victories. And I think that's one of the principles that is really important for especially new people, but even seasoned, people. Sometimes you can get myopic in looking at things, and you get, tunnel vision. It's the little victories.
Yeah.
And you have something like, getting your guiding to actually work and work well.
Yes.
That's a pretty good victory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting all these little subsystems to work right, and get it predictable, so that all of a sudden, the magic happens and you look at the data and it's like, holy cow, I'm an astrophotographer.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, this is nice.
Yeah.
It's so I'm slowly getting back to the way I was when I had my CEM60, before all of its calamities and stuff like that. I'm getting those numbers. I'm getting even better numbers, I think. And Norm, Paul, I think I agree with you guys. I'm going to have to get that going and try that next step with the SkyX as far as guiding and everything, and see how it all goes. But it's just the little victories right now. I'm just so used to be using PhD 2 now, guys. What
are you guiding with? Are you using an OAG?
No.
I'm
using the William.
Same one I got.
Yeah, the same one he had, the Guide Star, and I'm using the 290 Mini.
Yep.
So I got it fine-tuned, got that locked in, nice and focused, and it's been good. It's good.
Yep.
So it's something that I am, I'm just savoring the little victories right now.
Yeah,
Now I just
and
can't wait to get to use this in image and see how it all comes together.
oh, it's gonna be magic time. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. It's gonna be Princess Castle, in Disneyland. Let me tell you, you're gonna love it.
Oh yeah.
The thing too with the Guide Star, the 61, the optics on that little guide scope are phenomenal. They're just really, really good. But here's the thing. My Guide Star, and I just keep forgetting to do it. It's not focused.
Oh, yours isn't focused.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
it's close, but
Yeah.
it's not pinpoint focused,
Mhm.
and it still works fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's that's a dang good guide scope. So I'm glad you
yeah,
spoke about that and recommended it. So I was like, let me give this a go.
yeah, you can't go wrong with that William Optics. You
No,
just can't.
no.
I just upgraded my guide scope to the ASCAR Super 52.
Another great
Okay.
company.
Yeah, yep. Ascar's a
So
great freaking company.
haven't
I'm
had a chance to use it yet, but it's on the scope, ready to go back outside once I get a chance.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's what I keep coming back to. Good glass, good
yep,
glass.
yep.
Good glass, good coatings.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an
Wow.
upgrade from my SV Boney one that I was using. That just
Yeah.
the focus, I could never get good focus. Where on this new ASCAR, it's it
Yeah,
moves
it
the whole
extends.
lens. Oh my god! And it
Yeah,
just
it's
is
just like the
so
William Optics.
smooth and
Yeah.
nice. It's like, oh, this is going to be so much better.
Oh yeah. 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 And I mean, you can get into a William Optics Guide Star for what, 450.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. Yep.
And you
yeah.
throw another $300 at a guide camera, a good guide camera, and you're fine. The 290, the 290 ZWO, I know they don't make it anymore, but that camera is a perfect fit for the Guide Star.
I've got a 290. I've got a 174, and I've got a what is 462.
Yep. Yeah, my
And the
174 is in my OAG.
462 is really sensitive to infrared.
Which one?
So the 462.
Yeah.
So I guess for star detection, it's really sensitive. So, but it's all about finding the one with the right pixel size to match the imaging camera as best as possible at the focal length difference, and all that.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about the Sky X that I'll have to get, to figure out and get used to is the whole sequencing and all that. If I want to use the Sky X for guiding, because here I am. I started out with this. I started with this, I
Yeah.
started with an ASI Air. So for me, Paul and Norm, I know you guys are talking about, guiding with the Sky X and everything. I just started, I was so used to the ASI Air. Now I'm moving over to Nina. I at some point maybe I'm going to go to the Sky X and stuff like that, because I don't believe there is anything you can, as far as the guider in Nina, you can utilize the Sky X guiding, Norm, Paul, let me know if you guys even use Nina at all or not, if you guys are just using the Sky X for imaging and your sequences and everything. But I'm gonna say, I'm just taking little victories. I know the PhD 2 works right now, and I know how to use Nina.
Yep.
At some point, I will graduate, like everything else. I graduated from, Deep Sky Stacker, to Star Tools, to APP, eventually to PixInsight.
Yeah.
I will graduate, from all of that, to this, to utilizing the Sky X a lot more, because the Sky X is a really powerful piece of software. And I know professional astrophotographers and astronomers, they use it at universities and stuff like that, at the big schools and the big observatories. So Norm says he uses Voyager, which talks to SkyX. So at some point, maybe I will look into Voyager. But right
Expensive though,
now,
isn't it?
yeah, it's expensive. So right now, I'm just sticking. I'm going to stick with what works. That so far that I know what works.
Well,
And
there's a good chance
I'll get there.
eventually in Nina they'll come with a plug in
They
there.
might. They might. They very well might.
The way Nina is moving
yeah.
and growing, yeah, I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either.
No.
So, you know, it's just one of those things, you know. So I'm just taking a little success here that I had from yet last night, you know, and I'm going to, you know, I'm making my little victory lap from that. And then once I get the rest of the stuff, then we'll see what comes next. Once I get all the pieces together and I'm ready to take my first actual lights, we'll see what happens,
Right.
you know, with the next steps. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's anybody in the chat, any of the people that are watching, you know, that have questions about Nina and working with it, I mean, I started with SGP, and Sequence Generator Pro, and it worked great, you know. But man, I'll tell you, and I moved over to Nina, I never looked back.
Yeah.
It is a fabulous piece of software. So if there's anybody that has questions about it, you know, feel free to put them in the chat.
Yep. We have just a little over half an hour before we announce the image of the week for this week. This is the last one for June. So and also next week is the 4th of July. It's coming up Friday. I don't know. I might not be here myself. We don't know. I have to talk to Dan and see what happened, what's going to be going on. I did set it up just in case, release right now, that if we don't have a show on Friday, being, you know, 4th of July, and maybe people are out doing fireworks or spending time with their family or stuff like that, right now I'm going to have it planned out that we will make the announcement instead of the 4th of July, we'll make it that following Wednesday. We'll make an announcement that Wednesday. So, so just to get everybody know, just in case there is no show because of the holiday and, you know, people are hanging out and doing their things and stuff like that here in the States. So, so yeah, so don't forget right now, you got half an hour. If you haven't voted, vote. We have some really cool we have 2 really cool images from Benito as well as from Greg. You really need to go check those out. I'll share my screen here one more time, just so give folks a reminder, just so a refresher. Let me go, where are you? Not, I will make a new tab. That's just me because I've got a lot of stuff going on. So, yeah, I'm also looking for ways to cool my quieter for. Let's see. So astroweb.com/IOTW. So again, congrats to Jonathan and John for their wins from last week, the Blue Horsehead and the Ring Nebula. So some great images.
Scroll back up. Oh yeah, that's nice. Like that.
The Blue Horsehead as well as Roe, those are my 2 favorite summer targets.
Yep.
I absolutely love both of them. They're fantastic targets to go after. There was no novice entries this week. So we have for Benito
the bat,
the cosmic bat. And I'm going to have to go after this guy. This is one that looks really, really cool.
It is pretty cool.
I have not had a chance to image it yet, but it's one that, because I love dark nebulae, this is one that I'm going to have to do on some sort of a moon.
What's the miser on that?
This one is, they used the Artemis and the 8-inch Meade with the 0.60 reducer.
Now, what's the miser number, or the The catalog number for the bat.
Oh, LDN. This is LDN43. This is
LDN.
from, yep, this is from Lens Dark Nebula catalog number 43.
It's only in the Dark Nebula catalog. It's not in.
I think, as far as I know, I don't think I've seen it in Bernard's
Okay.
or any other. So but I do know it's an LDN. But yeah, it's just an awesome dark nebula, and it's so freaking opaque. In some of these areas, you can't see anything behind that bat's wings. So it's pretty darn cool. Even, some of the light that's coming through from some of these stars, just the highlights, it's just in the ears. It's just nutty how some of this stuff just turns out to look like animals, and stuff like that. Or, you have the Ghost Nebula and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how some of this stuff looks. And then we have Star Trails, and Sky Glow and Northern Lights and Polaris from Greg Meyer.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
That's a great shot there as well. So we have two votes. We have two entries here. Currently 22 votes. So don't forget to go vote for your favorite if you haven't done so already. And then we'll get that updated.
Ross, I'm looking for recommendation. I'm so sick of clouds. Yeah, preach to the choir. The pricing out a solar rig, Heliostar 76 Solar Quest.
Solar Quest, nice.
Right. I'm going to use an ASI Air because I don't want to build out a Melee.
Okay. Or connect to a laptop. What ZWO camera would you go with? Would you do anything? Maybe a PowerMate? Am I forgetting anything? For something like that, the 432 mono is one. The ASI 432 is one that has been touted as very good for solar. If you want to go deeper, I would also maybe consider a PowerMate, maybe a PowerMate 2, PowerMate 2 maybe a 2.5. And the 174 is a classic as well, for solar imaging. That is also there.
Yeah, it's not like it needs to be cooled.
Yeah, no, neither one of them need to be cooled or anything like that. But the 432 has larger pixels. It has 9 micron pixels, and the 174 is like a 5.7
something
micron.
like that. Yeah,
something like that.
They're pretty good size.
They're a pretty good size. So either one, you'd be fine, but I know the 432 is what is basically overtaking the 174. From what I understand from ZWO marketing and stuff like that, because they've done comparisons between the 174 and the 432, and they're saying that they are touting this as the 432 as their replacement for the 174. So I would look into either of those. And one cool thing is, at least for me, as far as the ease of processing and stuff like that, using a ZWO camera, you can use the ASI Studio to do your stacking, ASI stack, and then it can add the color, the false color, if you just want something more simplified for your processing and stuff like that. That's what I did when I was using my white filter. I think you can, because Ben from the Narrowband channel told me about, had a video on that one, and that's how I got into, when I was doing my white filter solar panel, solar imaging. That is what was pretty cool, it made it easier for me. So, but you using that Heliostar in this at HA, I think it'll do the same thing for you. So yeah, the 430, if you're leaning towards the 432, that's what I would probably recommend is the 432. Yeah, and that Heliostar was awesome when I saw it at NEAF. So they are bringing out a 102 Heliostar, but that 76 with a PowerMate 2.5, you'll be fine. And you can get in there. You can take it off and get great proms and prominence without it, without the PowerMate, and zoom in on those. And if you're lucky, you may even get a flare. So who knows? So Matt does solar, so I believe, and I know Wilfredo does solar.
Yeah.
So they would be very good resources. Check them out and catch up with them on our Discord channel. And if you have questions, because I know I'm going to have questions for them, when I get mine, maybe in a year or so, it would be really cool. And that whole, the pressure tuning is so easy, with Adelon and stuff like, I think it's called Adelon, of that Solar Quest. And it gives you that, what they call the double stack feel without the double stack price. So I think it's a really, really good, a really, really
Nice.
good scope, really good choice. So far, from what I've heard and from chatting with Ben a while back, he's been doing pretty good. I've seen he's put out a few videos since NEAF. I haven't seen anything recent, so praying for him, guys. Continue to pray for Ben and and his health. But as far as I know, he's been doing okay. I just haven't seen anything recent from Ben. But definitely check out his channel and send him a shout out and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah. Have your Capitals made their pick yet? There.
You know what? Let me check that. Probably are getting close.
Yeah.
No, they're only at 15.
Okay.
So they still got a ways to go.
So you got a ways to go. So for those who don't know, the reason why Dan's not here and we're running the show right now is because he was invited to a draft party, for the Islanders. So he's a big Islanders fan and stuff like that. So
he prioritized hockey over us.
He did over us.
Yeah.
He got a hookup and is in the Heineken bar at the stadium with his boy.
Yeah, he got a hookup. So
I'd have gone too.
I'd have gone too. If it was the NFL draft, you guys would not have seen me. You would not have seen me. I'd have been partying it up myself. So I cannot blame the man, and he's been busting his tail. So doing,
he has.
Cherry's doing at Cherry, making them sales for AstroWorld telescopes there in Cherry Springs. He's about to buy a house. He's, less than 2 months away of moving into a new house. I'm sure it's just a madhouse for him personally right now.
Yep.
So do not blame him for trying to get away and have some fun for a little bit. So Norm says, I use the Daystar Scout, Solar Scout 60. It's a nice little inexpensive setup. Yeah, those are pretty inexpensive setups too, I've heard. So definitely. So besides that, I mean, we've gone through quite a bit of stuff. We've had Pamela just ordered a Quark. Nice.
That's not a cheap scope.
That's not a cheap, that is not a cheap HA filter and setup. So
Quarks.
Quarks.
That's what, 6,000-7,000?
It depends. I know the actual, eyepiece setup is about 1,300. You can get either the chromosphere or the prominence, but I think it's around for 1,300. for either one of those, and then you can use your own scope and setup for that. So
you can get it's a solar eyepiece. They make a
yeah,
solar
it's
eyepiece.
yes, it's a set. Yes, a solar eyepiece setup that you can
Nice.
put in you can put in the camera and everything like that. Yeah, and then you can use your own refractor, your own small, like 60 millimeter or 70 millimeter refractor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put that on the 14.
No, because then you'd have to get that energy, that ERF or whatever it is, energy reduction filter, which I know, those things suckers are expensive.
Yeah.
Especially for a 14.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah. Norm's right. You would need an ERF for that pig.
Yeah.
Is a big piggy.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucker would be some crazy expensive glass, for that.
I wouldn't even try to do solar with the 14.
No, because it's going to give you that ERF is only going to give you a certain area.
Yeah.
Because it can't fill that entire aperture. I mean, you can't do it.
No.
Yeah, just get a whole different solar scope.
Just get a whole different solar scope. Exactly. Yeah, the Quark's about 1300.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things with the with that the Heliostar, it just looks so alluring. And then you pair it with that Heliostar mount that they have, the solar mount that you just set that up. And I know I believe Dan actually has one. And it sets up its alt as, and it senses, because it has a sensor or something where it knows where the sun is. It'll track and go directly to the sun. It has internal GPS and everything. It'll go right to the sun. And then boom, you're right there. No worries. It's like set and forget. It's like super
sun,
easy.
that big bright thing up in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. You just turn that sucker on, and you turn it on, and then it says, "Okay, we're going to the sun."
It's that big bright thing up there.
It's that big bright thing. Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I'm made for. I'm the Heliostar. That's why, and I'm going to go to the sun. And that's it.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And that whole combo is less than 2,500 for the scope and the mount, because the mount itself is like $500.
Yeah.
Scope is probably about 19 or $2,000, something like that, I believe. So it's not a bad setup.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. You only get one mistake. You're right.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah. So when it comes to solar, you do not want to screw around.
No.
Not even. Don't even go there with me.
Burn out your eyeball.
Yep. Or burn up your freaking mirrors and your optics.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, then there you go. You're looking for new gear. So no, thank you. Let's see if we got any other questions or comments here.
I'm also one of my next. I've been giving a lot of consideration to doing a mosaic, and I'm thinking to do the whole veil, the western and eastern veil.
You see that? Okay.
So, thinking about a 4-panel on that. I probably could do 2-panel, but I think the 4-panel might work out better.
Yeah, with Pickering's triangle and everything.
Exactly.
The entire circle, the entire Cygnus loop.
But I mean, that 720 millimeter, you pull it up in Stellarium, and or any of the other software, and you can see that 720 millimeter image rectangle. It two panels. It's awfully close to the whole veil.
Okay.
It's awfully close. So a 3-panel mosaic won't get
Won't get it done. So yeah, just do a two. Nah, so yeah, just do a 2x2.
Yeah,
Get it all
2x2 or yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can always crop it in once you.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. That's exactly it. You can crop it in.
So it's and I get a 20% overlay. Yep. A 20% blend between the panels.
Yeah.
So you won't need much crop, much in the way of crop. So
yep.
Maybe a little.
Corin was asking, how's the weather in Florida? It's raining.
It was raining. Right now, if I check my clear outside, it is right now. It is looking like I might have opportunity between just after midnight, maybe.
How's the weather in Aruba? That's what I want to know.
I think he's in Barbados.
Is it Barbados? Oh, that's right, Barbados. Yeah. How's the weather in Barbados?
Yeah.
He was talking about not only hurricane season and such, but also the
dust. He's getting the Saharan dust.
The dust.
Yeah, that's right.
Coming off of Africa.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So
the winds down in Africa,
Yep. And usually a lot of times those hurricanes, they start around in Africa,
well, they're right off the coast.
Right off the coast of South Africa. They start
where those tropical depressions begin. And
yep.
Well, Barbados is way out. I mean, it's in the outlying, islands, in the Caribbean. It is as far.
But is it north or south of the equator?
It's north.
He's very, very close to the equator.
Yeah, but it is north.
North of it, but he's very close to it.
Close.
Yeah, but he's definitely in that. Barbados is way out, and the outlying.
Yeah.
But
him imaging, he can get some really nice southern hemisphere targets though too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
some really nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get Alpha Centauri, Centaurus A. You can get the dragons.
He can probably get Carina.
Oh yeah, he can get Carina, because you can get Carina from Key West.
Yeah, I mean Carina's freaking huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah. Yep. So that may be a spot, that definitely maybe in a year or two, maybe I'll go to the Winter Star Party, and now that I'm here in Georgia, I can drive down to Key West and get there and take my refractor or something. My little travel setup. Once I decide, I had to decide on a travel mount, and do something like that. So
that's a long drive.
Oh yeah,
long drive.
Key
West for me is 8 hours
for
me, and I'm in central Florida, Gulf side, but central Florida. That's a long drive. You're at least 10, maybe 11 hours.
Yeah. I was thinking I was about like around 11 or 12 hours.
It's a long drive. You get out there, you get out on those bridges. You're on those bridges for hours.
Yep. Heading to Margaritaville.
Oh hell yeah.
So,
but Key West is, it's one of those things in this country. It just doesn't disappoint. The sunsets are incredible. The star parties are phenomenal. Because you're right there at the ocean, and it's just dark.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the spots that I'll have to head to, and I've been to Key West twice, and every time it was a blast.
Frickin' Islanders have 2 more picks in a row here. They got both of.
Did they get both of the
Habs picks?
Wow.
16 and 17. Dan's loving life.
Oh, he's loving that.
They're gonna have
they got number 1.
They're getting 3 first-round picks. Within the top 17.
Yeah, he's going to be apoplectic. Somebody's going to have to throw cold water on him.
He's probably hammered right now.
Oh man. Well, you know what? Those picks better do their jobs. That's all I got to say. The coaching better come together and they better do their damn jobs because, I know the Islanders, from what I've been reading from ESPN and was here on ESPN, they're happy there to offload that contract from that defenseman that they traded off.
Yeah, so their first round, their number one pick, actually, that guy Schaefer, he is a defenseman.
Okay, so they've got a new defenseman.
Yeah,
and then he's
a stud too.
Yeah, and now they've got 2 first round, and 2 additional first round picks. So we better start hearing some noise coming out of Long Island, man.
He's got a great name, even though he's short 1/2, but he's.
Oh well.
And he's freaking Canadian, but
yeah, well. Let's see. I am so
Sherry's like, I need a large body of water very soon. Yeah. Come down here to Florida. We're surrounded by 3 of them.
Yep. Oh God, baby. Oh God. No, Norm. No, Norm. No. Now you got, oh damn it, I read that. Now I'm stuck.
What?
Oh,
tired of water?
No, Norm's comments. Son of a gun.
What? I don't get it. What am I missing?
You'll see it. You'll see it.
Oh, maybe. Don't do it.
Good Lord. Good Lord. It's just I'm stuck. It's just like it's stuck in my head now. The damn brain worm just stuck in my head. Oh, shut up. Good Lord.
Don't make me pull it up on Spotify now.
Oh, don't go there. Don't you dare. Oh, God.
Come on, man. That's a great song.
Freaking evil people.
That song.
Evil people.
That song was the song here in DC in 2019.
Oh, God.
When Garcia Parra was playing with the Nats and we were winning the World Series. Every time he came up to the bat, they played that song.
Oh, man.
It was awesome.
The one that I can't get out of my head, I mean, as long as we're talking, is this one.
Which was that? APT. Oh God, APT from Rose and from Rose and
Rosie.
Bruno Mars. Rosie and Bruno Mars.
That one is just stuck in my head, man. I heard that one time. I was like, oh, that's my jam.
Oh man. I just listened, and I just heard that song. I just heard that song a couple, when I was coming back, from dinner, we were just like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I get that one on the radio. I'm like, Head got going.
Oh, good Lord. That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah, that's one of those. Woo.
Hopefully YouTube don't give us no strike.
I know, right? No, you can barely hear it. You can barely make it out. But okay, so we got 5 minutes. Got 5 minutes before we announce image of the week, and then then we get ready for the weekend. And good Lord, it's hot. Damn hot.
James Brown hot.
James Brown hot. Too hot in the hot tub. Ow! Good God.
Temperatures were nice today here, but it was wet.
So, oh yeah.
But at least
I just watched last night. I watched Biloxi Blues, and Matthew Broderick said, "It's hot. This is like Africa hot."
It's like Africa hot. Oh man.
Yeah, but that ain't no joke, Biloxi, Mississippi in the summer, man.
Oh God,
no.
Oh no.
Yeah, melt your contact lenses.
Good Lord. No. shoot. I was stationed in Meridian. I used to live in Jackson. Mississippi. I've been to Biloxi in Gulfport several times.
Yep.
Ooh, I got family who lives in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and whoo. But talk about a body of water. We talk about some couple weeks. I was hoping we'll see. We'll still see. I want to get over to Savannah and then head towards the coast and stuff like that. You know.
Oh yeah. If you've never been to Savannah, you got to go. It's gorgeous.
We're
nice.
going. We're going.
Savannah's nice.
It's beautiful there.
And you can go. It's like 45 minutes north of there. Hilton Head Island.
Hilton Head. Yep.
Go check out the tidal estuaries.
Yep. And I
told there.
Me and Robin said we have to before we do that, we have to watch Midnight of the Garden of Good and Evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to watch that. So that's one thing that we're going to do before we go, because I want to get the full effect of everything.
There you go. Yeah.
Savannah. And especially when we're going to, the graveyards and stuff like that. And I want to take a photo of that one statue.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hurricanes on River Street. You ain't kidding. You get a couple of those.
I've had hurricanes on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, you need an Uber because you're too screwed up to walk.
Yeah, that step off the curb gets a lot harder.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think the only thing that maybe can compete with those hurricanes is the old traditional Long Island iced tea.
God.
Yep.
That one will screw you up as well.
Yep.
Big time.
Yeah. No, and that's one of the reasons why we want to go, Norm, is because my wife, Robin, she's into all that ghost stuff and haunted stuff and the paranormal. She's really, she watches a lot of the Discovery Channel and all that stuff and Ghost Chasers and all that.
I don't buy any of that crap.
Yeah, so she's really into all that stuff.
She probably watched Supernatural and
this is for entertainment purposes.
Those shows. This is for entertainment purposes
only. Oh yeah, she's into Supernatural. I love Supernatural too.
That was actually a good show.
That's a freaking great show. But yeah, she's into all that stuff. So for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got less than a minute here, and we're gonna make the announcement. So let me cue things up. And let me go.
Yeah, Sherry, Techno Chicken has me stuck.
God, yes, never. All right, so who is the winner?
Yeah, I'm putting my odds on the Bat.
Batman!
I like both of them, but I think the Bat might take it.
We have 26 votes so far. So it is over.
That the Star Trails looks like it's an SHO.
So the poll is closed. So let's go check this out. Two really, really, really good images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had 26 votes. We need to get more votes. Tell everybody about it.
I voted.
Hey, tell everybody about our Image of the Week contest. Get some extra moolah to help with your rig. So from AstroWorld Telescopes. So our winner is, from those 26 votes, better not be no 13-13.
Oh, that would be. Oh!
Holy cow.
Be kidding.
It is. Oh my gosh.
We have a tie.
We have a
All right, so if there's
tie.
somebody in the chat that didn't vote,
Oh man. Oh gosh. That's
Somebody call JD Vance. He needs to break the tie.
I
Yeah.
know, right? I know. Oh man. That's so funny.
I'll bet Dan didn't vote.
I bet he didn't. Son gun. But congratulations.
Yeah,
to
they're both
Benito
good.
and Greg. They were both great images, man.
Yeah.
I had a tough time choosing between these two, man. So congrats. All right.
I'm just curious, what was the focal length on the bat?
0.6. It was an 8-inch. So at 0.63, so it was about 1400. Around 1400 or so.
1400.
Yeah, around there.
Okay.
2032 times 0.63. No,
13 and
12.
change.
Yeah, it was 1280.
1280. Okay.
Yeah.
1280.
So I could frame that up on a Hyperstar.
1280. Congrats to you both. Two great shots. So absolutely. They're both winners in my book. Oh, nice. All right. So we're ready for the weekend, fellas. So,
Yes, sir.
all right.
I can't wait to see what Greg's been shooting this week. He's been out at a dark sky site this week. So
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Got any final thoughts there, Dave, before we get out of here?
nothing really. I'm glad you got your mount working.
At least now, hey.
Let's hope you
Knock on wood.
get some clear, cool nights.
There
Where
go the dogs.
You know, it's one thing to be clear. It's another thing if it's 100 degrees. So hopefully you get a little respite from the hot heat and the clouds and can put that thing in action.
Exactly.
When's your bar supposed to show up?
I don't know whenever Dan ships him because he's already got he's got the flat panel. He said he just got the bar a couple days ago.
All right, so
whenever he
you should
puts
see him in
them
a few days.
so I should see him in a few days.
I ordered something from him today too, so hopefully I'll see that shortly.
Okay, Mr. Cole, any final thoughts?
Well, pray for clear skies. And
with you, it's so funny. You're just like a floating head. You're just like a floating head.
Yeah, it's because my black shirt. It keeps it keeps knocking me out.
It keeps
my
blending.
background. So, but yeah, no, I really like the submissions for the photos. I think that was a good call on the vote. You know, they were both excellent.
Yep.
I thought the bat was going to win, but you know, they're both excellent.
Yeah.
And, the bat did win technically.
Yeah, they both won. Exactly right. So I'm excited about
big stars.
Yeah, I'm excited about future targets and future videos. I'm actually working on my next video, the episode 4, something like that, for my Hyperstar. So that'll be all processing and getting the lagoon all processed up in Hyperstar. So that'll be finishing out. I'm looking to get that done probably next week, and we'll be on to our next target. And as always, if you guys have suggestions for targets, at that focal range, that focal length, and you'd like to see something done, send me an email. You just go to Astro Playground, and right there in my description, you'll click on it, and it'll go down to email. Just pop it in there and send me an email, and I'm happy to respond to you. So,
right on.
Excellent day.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, I'm happy that we've got, that I'm working on this SkyX and this Mighty Mount, and things are coming together. Things are coming together. It's a slow process, but you know what? In the end, it's all going to be worth it. And this is why we do this hobby. It's for the challenge and it's for the fun. When you get these little successes, you want to roll with them. So, can't wait to see what's coming up next, for me in this Edge 11. and this Mighty Mount. So yeah, it's going to be good. But besides that, thank you everybody for who's hang out with us all these years and hanging out with us and having fun. Thank you for the continued support. Please don't forget to share this video. Give us a like before you leave if you haven't done so. Share the video with your astronomy clubs. Let them know that we're out here and that, hey, we are, we've been doing this now for 6 years and we're not stopping. And, we're trying to, just get the word out and have fun and maybe give a little bit of, give back a little bit, to some of our future astrophotographers or current astrophotographers, to support them. So Dan, all I can say to you, Dan, is shut up, Dan. I hope you're having a good time at the draft.
Oh, I know he's having a good time. They just got another defenseman and a winger.
So hey, you enjoy the party. Everybody have a great weekend. If you have clear skies, enjoy the clear skies. We look forward to seeing some images from you guys. And for the others, stay warm. I mean, not stay warm, but stay cool. Because it's already warm. Jeez.
Depends on where you are.
Delusional. I'm already delusional from the heat.
Crazy from the heat.
Exactly. I'm getting my words mixed up. But take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And as always, keep imaging, keep educating, clear skies. And we will see you guys next Wednesday. And congrats to Greg and Benito. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
See you guys.